Hey everyone, John here, software engineer with 10 years of experience, and let's do some Leetcode. Today I'm going to work on longest substring without repeating characters, linked list cycle, and then we might or might not get to word search. I'll be time boxing this to an hour and a half, and ideally we're done quicker than that. So let's dive in. I'm going to erase this. I should probably erase the green comments too. But I'm going to read through them. So the point of the kata is memorization. The problem is that I haven't done this in so long that I actually, I don't remember it. So if you weren't doing the kata, you can consider that a feature. If you're just doing general Leetcode practice, sometimes getting an unexpected problem is a feature. But in the kata paradigm, that is a bug. So in the kata paradigm, I'm going to go ahead and refresh myself about the high level of the problem and the solution. Let's read the problem first. Given a string, find the length of the longest substring without repeating characters. Okay, so given that I have to find the longest substring, I could potentially need to scan the whole string. So I'm thinking that this will have a O of n time complexity. And the length of the longest substring without repeating characters. I'm thinking I can do this in one pass without need to cache the whole thing. Yeah, so that would be my intuition. All right, let's see the green comments that I have from when I've solved this in the past. Sort's not allowed. Okay, great. Overall strategy is a sliding window. Okay. Can run in a single pass. Great. O of n. I need a letter cache. Interesting. Target space O of 1, finite ASCII cache, window pointers, and max len. Or OS, where S is heterogeneous space in S. Okay, so based on this comment, I can do this with constant memory, but the constant memory will include a letter cache. So so a letter cache or an ASCII cache, there's a fixed number of characters. So that's why you can still consider it O of 1 memory. I say or O of S. In other words, if you're allowing that this could support different languages and there's different characters in the different languages, it would be O of S with respect to the number of characters in that language or in that character set. So I would consider this constant space, but if the interviewer pushed back and said, what about different languages? You could say, okay, it's O of S, where S is the heterogeneity space. That is the variety of characters in your language. KG, thanks for the follow. Thanks for being here, y'all. Okay, so it's clear enough at a high level. The cheat code is right here, the sliding window. So how do we implement a sliding window? Yeah, I'm of two minds on this. On one, I could just say, oh, I wrote the sliding window before, let me implement that. I guess that is the kata way to do it. It would be nicer if I can go from the problem to the sliding window, though. Why is that the optimal way to scan? So I'm going to go through that exercise. So given a string S, find the length of the longest substring. So what if I have a single pointer? If I have a single pointer and I'm going all the way through, find the length of the longest substring without repeating characters. I could build a cache of the result and I could bust it every time I repeat characters. Why would that not be suitable? Find the length of the longest substring without repeating characters. Okay, here's the reason that would not be suitable. If I do a single pointer approach, if I'm scanning and I'm caching a result and I'm busting the cache when I repeat, that is not optimal, because what I could do instead is I could drop the last character. Instead of busting the whole cache, I could just drop until it is no longer a repeat. So if I have 3 characters, A, B, C, and I run into A, I only need to drop 1 character. I don't need to bust the whole cache. And in that way, I can preserve a potentially longer string. Okay, great. Now I don't feel like I'm cheating because I've actually got the right mental model for the sliding window. So we do want a sliding window for that reason, because I want to be able to scan and then increment my left instead of flushing the whole cache. And that is basically a sliding window. So let's code that. This is going to be rough. I haven't done this in a while. So let's define left is going to be 0. And one of the main differences between, and we can do left IDX, one of the main differences between the sliding window and the 2-pointer approach that you might use from 3-sum, the 2-pointer, so technically a sliding window has 2 pointers. So depending on how you're speaking, they could be the same thing. But very often when we contrast sliding window with 2 pointers, it's because the 2-pointer, they'll be starting on either side and converging. As opposed to a sliding window where the pointers are starting on the same side and you have a leader and a lagger. Another similar pattern here, which is a kind of sliding window, is the rabbit and the hare. I think that's what it's called, right? Do other people give that a different name? Fast pointer, slow pointer. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. So we have the left index and then we have the right index, but the right index is not going to be the last index. It is going to be either 0 or 1. What I want to initialize at 0. I want to go ahead and initialize this at 0 because I want to be able to have a last character. I want to have a list of characters that I have seen. So why am I building that? Why is building that list not creating O of n space complexity? Because I might have seen n letters. No, it's capped. It's finitely capped. That's the reason. Yeah, so I'll have seen, and this could be a set, finitely capped in size at seen each letter once. Thanks for the follow. Oh, is it hard to get a job with just a computer science degree? Relative to the market, it's incredibly easy. Relative to what you consider to be hard, it may or may not be hard. So it depends what you mean by hard. Having a computer science degree makes getting a job much easier than the typical career job search. Now, if you're comparing it to a job at McDonald's, it's going to be harder than that. But the typical career job, where a McDonald's job would typically not be considered a career job. Does that make sense? Isn't computer science oversaturated? No, it's not. No, it's not. And I would challenge you to give me a coherent, measurable definition of saturation. The right way to look at these things is to look at the supply and demand in the labor market, and there's actually a shortage of engineering talent. There's a shortage, believe it or not. You'll hear a lot of these layoffs. You're hearing a lot in the media about the layoffs, but if you dig in and understand how many of those layoffs are programmers, it's a small fraction. And the media will tell you anything except January 2024 went better than January 2023, and we're actually doing better year over year. They'll telling you. I saw an article from TechCrunch that said this is the worst quarter in 3 quarters. It's like, what you mean is it was better than Q1 last year. TechCrunch, worst 3 quarters. We're going to get sidetracked, aren't we? This is bad. I want to get back to tech layoffs scale to 3-quarter high. Okay, in other words, Q1 of last year was worse than Q1 of this year. So it's better year over year. Anyway. Good question. It's not oversaturated. Hang in there. Check latterly.io and join the Discord. If you're having a particular problem, we'll get that squared away. All right. So I have my left index and my right index, and then we have this scene. So let me loop, and I'll say while left IDX is less than. Actually, I want to say while right IDX. So we're going to keep ticking the right over until I hit the end of the wall, until I hit the end. So while right IDX is less than the length of S, we'll put a to-do here, and then I'll eventually return result. And here I'll say longest subs. I'll just say longest. We'll call it longest substring, whatever. So the longest substring we're initializing to an empty string. By the way, we should care about the edge case. So what is the edge case where there are only 2 letters and they are both repeated? You still get a single letter. Great. What about the edge case where the input is 0 length? Less than or equal. Okay, so it is possible that you get an input with 0 length. Find the length of the longest substring. So I'm going to presume that the right thing to do in that case is to return an empty string rather than none or something like that. Thanks for the follows. You think people will call back to applicants for internship from online college? The answer is yes. But proportionally speaking, that's going to be hard. So what do I mean by yes? I mean, there will be some people, like at least 2, that get a callback for an internship with an online degree. They do exist. Now, what you might mean to say is, given that you are attending or graduated from, it's not clear. Given that you are attending some online college and you've applied to some number of places, does it follow that you will probably get a callback? The answer is a resounding no. That is so. The answer to the question you asked is yes, but I think the answer to the question you meant to ask is no. You need to do a lot more than apply to a few places. And I would encourage you to do a lot more than just attend an online college. What else can you do? You can socially network, you can build a portfolio, you can obtain certifications. There is a lot to be done. Don't let your personal brand be, I have attended an online college. You can do much better than that. Thanks for being here. Throw some likes on the video if you're enjoying the video so far. Okay. So here we'll do cur. Cur is the right IDX of S. Did I say that correctly? Yeah, I did. I just wrote it wrong. It's the right IDX of S. So cur is the right IDX of S. And what we want to do is if cur in scene, we want to do something else, we want to scene.add cur. If it's already seen, then this is result breaking. Slice off the left. This is result breaking. Slice off the left until. This is going to take me a long time to do, isn't it? I feel really dumb right now. Well, that's the purpose of kata. So we're already 13 minutes into this. I think we might, whatever. We might, let's keep at it. We might get 1, 2, or 3 problems. We're not going to get 3 problems in the stream. We might get 1 or 2 problems in the stream. K-pop, sorry, I didn't see this. Okay, yeah, no need to apologize. I'm not sure what you mean though. This is result breaking. Slice off the left until the dupe is eliminated. So here we'll say while is dupe eliminated. We'll initialize that to false. And we will say while not is dupe eliminated. We're just going to literally character until this thing turns true. Here we'll make a J. J will be left IDX. Why don't we use left IDX itself? I think we should. I think there's no reason to pick J. So is dupe eliminated is false. Left is the left IDX of S. And what we want to do, if cur is left, this is our last fix iter. This is our last fix iter. Else, we will left IDX plus equals 1, and then we will just continue in the while loop. Is left on the progrger. Not sure what you mean. I mean, left is right here. Was that a typo? Or I'm not sure what you mean. Okay. So if the current thing is in scene, then we have a duplicate, and we need to slice off our character until we no longer have a duplicate. Okay. So is duplicate eliminated? The answer starts with false, and we will take the left character in our longest substring. Okay. I'm not actually sure that we need. Yeah, we need that. We need to cache that. Okay. And we are to return the length or the string. Find the length. So we actually don't need the string. This will just be max len, which is equal to 0. And we'll return the max len. And so at the end of this while, so there's an else, and then here max len equals max of max len, comma, length cur. Great. Couldn't you do left IDX increases if cur in scene and right IDX increases if not? Couldn't you just do left IDX increases if cur in scene? If cur in scene. What would be the exit condition? If that answered yes, you would just keep spinning left. You need an exit condition, right? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you were like, if you meant more than you said, but based on what you said, that would be an infinite loop. Okay. So if cur in scene is dupe eliminated, what you might mean is there a way to do this without creating is dupe eliminated? And yes, there might be, if that was your point. There might be a way to do that. So we make it work, and then we make it work better. The first thing is to get something on paper. So you don't need a nested while loop. There are surely ways to answer this question that do not involve a nested while loop. There are surely ways to do that. I don't believe any of them will have a better worst case time complexity though. But there are absolutely ways to do this without a while loop. Thanks for participating. Okay. So this is result breaking, slice off the left until the dupe is eliminated. So while not dupe is eliminated, we have our left character. And then if cur is left, this is our last fix iter. I'm not sure that comment is very helpful because we still need to increment either way. We still need to increment either way. I think this is demonstrating the fact that we don't need this. We don't need this. I can just say while cur is left. While cur is left. So we want to initialize left outside of the loop then, that's fine. So left is the left index of S. So while cur is left, pretty much that's the whole thing. That's a lot simpler, isn't it? So while cur is left, we are moving left to the right. If you move left to the right, is it still left? Oh, question for the philosophy majors in the chat. Okay. Can you imagine a variable that, like, when you updated it, it dynamically changed its own name? That would be like, oh, programmer's nightmare. Okay. Oh, is that pretty much the answer? Wow, we're really close to the answer already. So while cur, now I need to like refresh my cache basically. Can I just do, yeah. Now seen is, well, that was a stupid thing to say. Okay, seen is a set of, yeah, I guess so. Now seen is it's the sub slice. How do I write this in Python? S, can I do this? S from left IDX to right IDX. I'm not sure if I can do that. And I'm not sure I need this intermediary variable either. So I could just potentially put that in there. Let's do one step at a time. I will print that to make sure that it's working. F string in the house, let's go. Okay, so the idea here is then we will sort of reset the cache, and can we proceed normally from there? Yes, with 1 bit, 1 extra bit. And yeah, I think we're ready to do the initial run. So we get the indexes out of range pretty quickly. Right. While cur is left and left IDX is less than right IDX. So we need to make sure our left is on the left. What if it's no longer on the left? We'll break out, and then we'll have now seen from left to right. If left and right are both 1, does now seen have a length? That will be interesting to check. I might have an off by 1 issue there. All right. Now seen is BC. Okay. That doesn't quite tell me that it worked, though. I mean, it pretty much tells me that it worked, but let's do this. Now seen, right. So we go A, B, C, and then I run into my A. Oh no, so I move my left, boop, and now I've seen B and C, but I also should have seen A. I also should have seen A right now, okay? So I guess that means I just remove the else condition. I think I can just do that. Just do that regardless. Let's take a look. Okay, A, B, C, A. Now seen, B, C. No, I want to see B, C, A. Oh, okay. Well, this print message can say be seen. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so I think my now scenes are looking correct. So why is my max length wrong? Can I do that? Right index is slicing is exclusive. That might be it. Yeah, 100%. That could be it. But here I'm sort of re-adding cur, which I think should make up for the fact that's exclusive. No? You are right, though, that is okay. Let's keep that in mind. It's a good thing to keep in mind. Okay, what's going on here with the PQ? Now seen PW, that's correct. Oh, how did I get the W there? Because that seems to be slicing inclusively, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. What am I talking about? No, it doesn't. Okay. So the output was 4, expected was 3. What do I have? PW. Oh, yeah. How do I have 2 W's in there? That is our bug. Okay. So while cur is left and left IDX is less than right IDX. So here we go, PWW. Oh no, we trigger our slicing. Okay, we get to now seen PW. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So the problem is that we're assuming that the duplicated character will be it should slice off the P and W. It should say now seen like an empty string. So I want it to say now seen an empty string. Why is it not doing that? Ah, okay. This condition is not sufficient. It's not sufficient to check that it went from, this is not a sufficient condition. We need to use the set itself. While cur is left and, no, while cur in scene, we should be removing them. While cur in scene, sorry, while left in scene. Nope, my brain is still not working. Hold on, let's slow down. Undo, undo. What we want to do is, so PWW. Now I have my duplicate condition. So W would be cur. While W, it's really like while cur is not left. While cur is not left, we keep slicing, and then we do one more. So while cur is not left, we keep on slicing, and then we do one more. One more step to slice the dupe. What language is he doing? This is Python. You can see in the upper left. Tap the video for some likes if you are, if you think it's interesting. Oh, and there we go. That was accepted. Great. We can drop these prints. That'll speed it up. And yeah, I mean, whoever was earlier in the chat, we can probably collapse these. Let's try to do that improvement too. So here I'm seeing the cur is not left. Can I move? Why not just move left up here? I seem to be able to initialize it there. That seems fine. While cur is not left, okay. We would want to initialize right IDX at the 1 in that case, which opens us up to a negative edge case because there might not be a 1 index. But we can simply handle that. We can simply handle that with a guard. If len of s is less than 2, return max len. Okay, so we'll use that guard. Thanks for the follow. And so here, can I now create a compound condition that encapsulates all of these? I could, but I shouldn't because I need that if cur and scene check. Is there a way to get my if cur and scene check with a single while loop? So if the right index is less than the length of s, I mean, the way to do it would just be to add an additional condition in line. So basically to put the if cur in scene in line. I'm not sure I see much advantage in that. I mean, cool, just for the glory of having a one-liner, but it would be a 4-condition one-liner. I'm actually not here for that. I'd rather have it be broken into multiple lines. So I would go ahead and submit this. I'm not even sure that if len thing over there is very necessary, but let's just check it. Not supported between string and integer. Well, that's the truth. My bad. Okay. I don't even know if this was faster. Let's submit it though. Okay, so we get an issue over here. Cannot access max len where it is not associated with a value. Oh, yeah. I could just return 0, like, whatever. Cool. Wrong answer. Did I return a string at some point? So S, oh, it's an empty character. Yeah, that was not smart. If it's less than 2, so if it's 0, return 0. If it's 1, return 1. If it's 2, proceed. So I should do linked S here. In the case of a length 2, what am I doing? So I have my left index is 0, my right index is 1, 0, 1, AU. They are not in conflict. Okay, so my right IDX is, yeah, my right IDX is less than S, so I proceed. Cur is U. If U in scene, it's not. It's not. So we sort of skip all this and add it here. Okay, so the problem is that I need to initialize. When I changed this from being the 0 into a 1, I never added left, and I never added left into scene. Okay. Sorry, late to the party. What is the goal of this exercise? Oh, we're doing Leetcode. So Leetcode is useful in a variety of interviews, basically, interview rounds. We're working on the laterally Leetcode kata. Where do I have the link to that? So this is blog article number 3. Oh, there's a 3x3 going on. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this 3x3? Check it out. So this is blog article number 3, and we're working on item 3 in the Leetcode kata, which is also number 3 on leetcode.com. Woo! Leetcode, the thing you spend all your time doing if you're unemployed and you never use it again. Pretty much. Pretty much. So this is not very nice. What's the issue here? B, P, F, B. And now I should be slicing up to, I should just slice 1. So now I should be P, F, B, H, M, I, P. Now I should just slice 1. So I should be having these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So use test case. I would like to. Let's do that. So let's use that test case. Yeah, so what are these test cases? A bunch of B's. So we're ending on a dupe here. And we're ending on a dupe here. And we are not ending on a dupe here. That is the distinction. right idx plus 1. So x should still hit here. X should still hit here. Okay, let's run it as a test case. Clay, what's going on? 6, great. That wasn't very informative. Let's get the log now seen, and then we add that will get us to the p, and then we want to do one more loop and get to the x. Will this help us? No? Okay. I was wondering if we weren't getting to that condition. Let's print it. Print cur. Let's make sure we got the x on the list here. So we get to the x. So we'll do cur and we'll do seen. Let's do len, seen. So when I hit x, my scene length is wrong. How did you learn to code? I started with WordPress. This was a long time ago. I started just by blogging with WordPress when I was like a freshman in college. And at that time, I was blogging about political science and economics. And I got good at WordPress, and I did some widgets and some customizations. And later, when I was on the job in political consulting, we were building WordPress sites. And we had a need from a client to build a custom widget. And we were going to hire a software development consultancy. It was going to be really expensive. And I said, hey, give me a month. Let me see if I can do it. And I did it. And so we were able to look up the contact information for some people in a zip code if the user puts their zip code on the website. And that was in PHP. And that was my first diving into programming. Can I ask a laterally question? Absolutely. Fire away. I'm trying to learn. I'm hanging in there. It's difficult. How did you push through? Well, I can tell you how I pushed through, but I think much better advice is to give you information about what the research says, okay? Because I'm like a weird person, but the research can actually tell us what works for more people. And what works is social learning. So, Brian, do you have a group of people that you're learning with, or are you sort of like grinding Leetcode videos on your own? And also project-based learning and being able to pick projects that matter to you. So those would be, and then also seeing incremental wins. But I think you're going to see incremental wins if you're building an open source project. I think you'll see the incremental wins because every commit is an incremental win. So are you doing those things? Do you have a group of people that you're learning or building with? No, just alone. Yeah, that's the problem right there. You need to get a group of people. Sign up at laterally.io and join the Discord if nothing else. There's also a bunch of really great organizations out there. Here's the Laterally Endorsed Community Guide, and you can obviously do your own research as well, but here's some large Discord communities, influencer-led communities, and diversity-oriented communities. Highly recommend all of these. So get yourself in a social network. Clay says, when do you need to re-up the sub? Like, do we get an email? I forgot when I subbed initially. Oh, Clay, so if you paid once, you keep getting the benefit until I update Stripe. So you don't need to, like, the subscriptions aren't working right now. So you just keep, this is like, okay, great. This is a secret between me and everyone watching. If you pay premium once, you might get many months of premium because the subscriptions on Stripe are not implemented for recurring charge. So if you go to Stripe right now, if you pay once, you get premium until, that's the reason I can't commit to it though, because like I might fix it next month. So you might end up just getting 1 month. So Clay, I know that's maybe not the answer you were hoping for, but the answer is you will need to re-up whenever I fix it. And I will be sending out an email, yes. So you will get an email that says, and I'll give you some notice. So I'll be like, it's expiring in probably the end of the month or within the next 2 or 3 weeks or something. Do you have a degree in computer science? No, I do not. I have a PhD in economics. Is it better to try to get into cybersecurity or software engineering right now, says Andrew. Andrew, let me give you a tip. Go to Indeed.com and look for the job, cybersecurity. Okay, so let's look at this. 20,000 jobs, all right? 20,000 jobs. Hanging in there? Let's hang in there. Software engineer. 67,000 jobs. Okay. So as an economist, I don't really like the word better or worse, but I will say, holding all other things constant, if you're optimizing only for the probability of obtaining a job, software engineer is about 3 times better. But that's holding everything constant. Like, I don't know your personal preferences. Are you really into like hacker movies? Are you just really into cybersecurity for some reason? But again, if you're like, I don't care but I will also tell you the average person in the cybersecurity career has a lower job satisfaction compared to an ordinary software engineer. Like, once you get in there, it's actually not what the movies make it seem. So even if you're into hacker movies, like, it's not like that. Like, it's a lot more boring. It's like running Burp Suite and like reading sonar reports. Sounds good. Just wanted to make sure I pay because you're doing great work. Clay, that is super nice. You can always add a tip. But yeah, no obligation at all, man. I will send out an email in advance of when the recurring charges start to go through. Andrew says, gotcha. I want a job in tech. I have a CS degree, but no experience. SWE seems tough right now. Does cybersecurity seem easy? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, tough, easy, these things are really subjective. It's going to depend on what's hard for you. Like, some of us came from backgrounds where like living was tough and getting a software engineering job was comparatively a breeze. But other people, tough to them means like getting a good grade on your test is tough. Yeah, like, okay, it's tough. Let's get this thing fixed. I'm going to time box this to 5 more minutes and then we'll look up the solution. In computer science, don't they teach coding, or is it something you learn on your own? They should teach you coding, but also the average computer science program does a famously bad job of doing that. So that the typical computer science graduate who obtains an internship or job will tell you that they did substantial supplementation on their own. Okay. Where was I? Let's reorient myself. Duplets. I don't need that. We got rid of that. Okay. One more slice. Oh, right. So the issue was like there was a unexpected thing going on over here. So BP And then I'm expecting to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 when I hit that P there, okay? And it looks as though I got my 6. So cur was I, and then cur was P, and len became 1. So that is the problem. Why did it collapse down? On the P case. So we came up to here, bam. And then we hit P, and somehow it collapsed all the way down to 1, which it should have just shrunk by 1. It should be still saying 6. Should be still saying 6. So if cur and seen, while cur is not left, but cur is left. But cur is left. Okay, so this is my mistake. So while cur is not left is not a good check. We definitely want to calculate left, okay? Oh, did I also not update left? Okay, well that is a super bad thing. Yeah. That's not going to fix it, is it? Okay. Okay. Ugh! Had to slam my head on the desk. I just stopped. I just froze left and I never recomputed it. Okay. Beats 16% of the users. So I'm slow. Great. So the memory is pretty good though. Bam. How could we improve the performance here? Probably squishing those while loops together somehow. Maybe, and you can always game Leetcode. I mean, this might not help at all, so we can just comment this. Did that help? String out of range, whatever. Right, so if we do that, then we have to make this a 0, and that probably won't work either because the left needs to get adjusted. Yeah. All right, whatever. There are some things that we could do. I don't think any of them improve the worst case time complexity asymptotically, but they could very well improve your position in this index here. And one of them would be, instead of starting at 0, 1, start at 0, 0. You could test removing this guard. The guard could actually be a net performance slowdown. Depending on the shape of their test cases, the guard might not hit very often, and it might just be an overhead. So stuff like that. When you're speaking to this in an interview, you would basically refer to, quote, empirical data that you could optimize depending on empirical data. So asymptotically, this is already like really good. It's like O of n perf, O of 1 space. But then based on empirical data, you could do even better. So, it's O of 1 space because we're doing a finite ASCII cache. But based on empirical data, maybe it's only English letters. Like we don't need comma support. We don't need period support. We don't need question mark support. So you could shrink, even though it's finite to finite, it would still be an improvement that could improve you on one of these curves here. Does that make sense? Okay, well that was 50 minutes when it should have been 15 minutes, and that just shows that I haven't done this in a while, but there you go. There's the kata, number 3 right there. Practice makes perfect, and I think we're just going to do the one problem this time because I don't feel like doing more Leetcode. Don't remove guards because although errors may be rare, the possibility is not 0. No, you could totally okay. Let me be very clear. When I talk about removing this guard, I don't mean there, I removed the guard. I mean, you could refactor the method so that the guard is not necessary. So this guard is checking length less than 2, which enables me to pick 0 and 1 out of the gate because I know that they exist. Before I implemented the guard, I had them both on 0. And here I would still want to check it would be a different guard. I would still want to check maybe here if ling s is 0, which I wouldn't need because I would have the right index less than s. So basically, it turns my while condition into a self guard. Where did max len go? Max len is 0. So does that work? Wrong test case 6, 7. Okay, so there's something here that's assuming. Yeah, I think it's the way I'm pointing it left is assuming the 0, 1 situation. You would refactor the method so that the separate guard is not needed. Did you see how this became a self guard? So that's what I was referring to. I wasn't referring to like, hey, just delete the guard and it'll work. Like, no. Oh, well, there's another. Okay, I left my print statement in. There's another reason that I'm going to be slower than other people. Let's run it without the print statement. Okay, so now it got us up 5%, and the memory is now looking pretty good. Sorry, I threw you off a bit. No problem. This is like I think it's more of a benefit to the community for me to answer your questions instead of just doing the Leetcode, but that's also really helpful. I get feedback all the time that's really helpful. So doing a balance of questions and Leetcode instead of just 2 Leetcode problems seems great to me. Again, thanks for being here. If this was interesting, follow the page. I do these like Leetcode specifically, I do like a few times a month. And then we also do all kinds of open source programming. So earlier today, I did some bug fixes. This is all live streamed on YouTube if you want to, and that was a production issue, by the way. So if you want to understand how to troubleshoot a production issue, you can go check out the stream from earlier, fixing a minify error. And yeah, you can sign up at latterly.io, sign up for free. And then if you want, it's open source. If you want to contribute to the code, just scroll down and tap the GitHub, voila. And you will get shouted out along with Paula and Jesla if your pull request is merged. Thanks for being here. Talk to you later.